right, what is up, watch people? Welcome to another edition of Talking Timepieces with Tony. Today I am wearing my Nomos Club Campus 38 millimeter with an orange rubber strap on it. I got the strap at Strapsco, FKM rubber, $34.99, not the $175 for the Omega strap. So I thought you'd like that. Anyway, so I'm not going to roll the intro or do anything like that because today I'm going to be answering a question, and it's a question I get a lot, and it's about what do I do for a living, and about music. So I'm going to explain that, and I don't want to try to get too long with this video, but unfortunately it can't be a real short video because there's a lot to it. So primarily I'm going to start. It's kind of, I'm a very private person. I tend to not advertise anything like what even when I have a new record coming out, I don't self-promote it. I leave all that to the record company and things like that. I might post something on my Facebook page and saying I have a new record out, and then that's it, and whatever. So because I certainly don't think I'm like the coolest, or the music industry has been very difficult. It's a very difficult industry for anyone to get in. The entertainment industry in general, it's not even just getting in. Once you're in, it's maintaining a position and being able to maintain a lifestyle, or making a living at it. It's not always the easiest thing. It's been very difficult. For me, I started playing guitar at a very, very young age. My mom was a concert pianist as when she was young, classical music. So we grew up with a lot of classical music in our house. For me, I was started as a rock and roll guitar player. Got into Ozzy Osbourne, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and my favorite guitar players were like Jimmy Page, Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen. Then it became guys like Steve Vai. And then from there, a lot of the jazz guys, Scott Henderson, then there's names that, I could bring up you guys might not know, or you may know, I don't know, some of the shredder guys. So I had moved to England when I was about 14, and I essentially wanted to be a professional tennis player, so I was playing a lot of tennis, but I was playing guitar as well. And got into a band, a local band, and we were kind of a glam hard rock band, except I was all working hard on playing guitar and trying to be as good as I could possibly be. Got to tour and do all those kind of cool things, and had a big following. I moved back to Los Angeles when I was 21, and I really wanted to get an education in the music, not just music industry, but I ended up going to music school and got a degree in jazz harmony theory, and I went through the guitar program at Grove School of Music, and I just wanted some longevity. I knew that just being in a rock and roll band, unless that band became super mega huge, I wouldn't probably be able to sustain a lifestyle or a living at it. And just because you get an education in music as well doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to sustain a lifestyle or make a living at it. So in my case, I went to Grove School of Music, and then I ended up doing some classes and some teaching there. I wasn't a full-fledged staff member, but I was doing workshops and teaching. Then I started getting some session work, playing on other artists' records, things like that. Session work was kind of stressful for me because you're going into a studio not knowing what you're going to be playing, and then you have chord charts and you have to read the charts, and you just go through the motions, and so some of it was difficult, some of it was very easy. I ended up going on tour with some various other bands. I don't want to mention names of bands simply because, one, a lot of the guys I went on tour with, I didn't really like them that much. I never hung out with musicians, even though I was a musician. I always hung out with like road crew, things like that. I continued doing session work. I was doing work for a record company, and then I ended up working for Bobby Hart, Boyce and Hart, which was a big famous songwriting team, and doing session work for them. And then I was also doing a lot of teaching and a lot of guitar seminars. I started, getting endorsements with companies like major guitar companies. I was getting endorsements. I was getting all my gear for free, which is great because, when you're not able to afford equipment and they're handing it to you for free, that's great, And then you do seminars and things like that, and you get paid for that, and you make money at that. I was felt like I was constantly touring and traveling, and I've done a lot of touring and traveling, and that takes its toll on you. When you're younger, it's not so bad. It's kind of fun sometimes, you get into trouble, but it's, you know, but I'm that guy I'm very, I'm very transparent in how I feel. It's like I don't want to do something just for a paycheck, and I find that if it's not something I dig, then I'm going to bow out of it. And so it's it's a tough thing, It's like make a living, pay your rent, eat food, go on tour with people you don't want to go on tour with, or the opposite. And I always found like I would do really well for a bit, I'd make a lot of money, and then next thing you know, I'm freaking homeless, I mean, legit homeless, and it's like, and that's not fun. And I was even homeless in my 40s, man. That's, that was a tough thing, being a grown man and being homeless and sleeping on people's couches. So not cool. So I don't take anything for granted. I take nothing for granted, I mean, if you've watched my previous videos, I also have health issues, and so anything I can get is a blessing. I don't think, getting a Rolex or Cartier is really a blessing, because I think that's just stuff you buy. I think waking up every morning in life is a blessing, and we should be thankful and not take things for granted. Be cool with everybody. I used to say in the music business, how to get into it. I used to do a lot of music business seminars. I'd get paid to go up and tell people how to get into the music industry and what you have to do and things like that. And I always say, just be cool with everybody, because you never know who you'll run into or who you're talking to. Who are you sitting next to at the bar? Where are you? And because it's happened to me a few times where I've actually met someone who, like was the, worked for Interscope Records or something, who's an A&R person, and then next thing you know, because I was cool with them, it goes from there. It's just be cool, you know what I mean? And I live by that every day. Sometimes you can't always, sometimes you have bad days and whatever. So in my case, I was getting burned out on being a guitar player, just a guitar player. And I'm going to post some videos, okay? So I hope you stick around to watch this. A video of me just doing some shred guitar stuff in my apartment in Van Nuys, and whatever. So I was lucky. I was making a living. I was touring. I was doing all that cool stuff. I was seeing the world. I was seeing different countries and, United States, and all over the United States, many times, multiple times, and I got burned out and I didn't want to do it anymore. So I was also working for K-Rock. It's a big radio station here in LA. I wasn't an employee of K-Rock. I was doing a lot of the music for the morning show, Kevin and Bean morning shows, playing with Psycho Mike Catherwood, and doing a lot of that morning show stuff. I mean, I got to even play the K-Rock Winnie Roast, which was a huge thing, opening for Metallica, The Offspring, all that stuff, whatever. Anyway, so, but I didn't want to be a hired gun guitar player anymore. So I started turning down everything. People were saying I was crazy, dude. You're too, like, I got offered to go on tour. I got to play with the band Survivor. If you remember that song, I Had the Tiger, and that, because I did one of their records. I did a Mickey Thomas record from, Jefferson Starship, Elvin Bishop, Fooled Around and Fell in Love. I didn't do that song, but I did one of his records. I never met the dude even, and I found out years later that the record I did didn't even come out. It's because I just didn't care. I was just doing it to get paid, and that was it. And when you start doing it just for that, it just becomes, it's not what it is. So I decided I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. Well, before doing the singer-songwriter, I've always been a songwriter. And so I'd been writing some acoustic songs. Now, getting away from the technical aspect of playing, because I've got a lot of injuries in my hands over the years, my shoulders and things. So I started writing acoustic songs. And I had a friend, she was working for Geffen Records, and I said, hey man, I've written some songs. Do you want to come over and check them out? And I played her some of the songs, and I had written lyrics, and I started singing the songs and saying, well, I need to get a singer. But this is the idea of what the song is. And she's like, no, dude, you don't need to get a singer. You're the singer. I was like, damn, I'm not a singer. I'm a guitar player, So she then convinced me to become the singer, and I did. And I recorded a few records, vocal. The first one was called Oncoming Train, I think around 2000, 2001. My very first gig as an acoustic singer-songwriter was opening for Rat. Was it Rat? Yeah. No, Mr. Big, Eric Martin. And then they invited me on stage to sing their number one hit song, I'm the One Who Wants to Be With You. Then after that was Rat, Stephen Pearcy, the singer from Rat. And then I did a second record called Read Between the Lines, which you can still get. You can buy it on eBay in England now for like 35 bucks. Save your money. I almost want to give you 35 bucks not to buy it. You know what I mean? I can't stand listening to my music. From there, because I took the chance to be a singer-songwriter and figured that if it works, cool, and if it doesn't, at least I tried, and at least I did it, and if I fail, I failed. You know what I mean? I had some success. I had some shows. I had some big shows. I mean, I played a lot of the Hollywood clubs. I was playing before this. I was playing theaters. I even played stadiums. Now I'm going back down to clubs again and doing that stuff, which I don't care, you know. But I was doing what I wanted to do, even not getting paid. So from there, you know, I took a break from that for a while because it was just kind of, you know, I call myself the most successful, unsuccessful musician. I've been successful in a sense, and I've had a lot more success than most will. But I always hit the ceiling. I never got to that whole thing, you know what I mean? I had so much cool shit happening at one time, you know, interviews, TV. I was on the NBC morning show. And then, you know, a friend of mine turned me on to this ukulele player. I'm not going to mention the name because I'm just sick of that whole thing. But and I started playing ukulele. And I had a bet with a buddy of mine who worked at Warner Brothers. I said, hey, you know, if I picked up an ukulele and got famous, wouldn't that be kind of weird? And he goes, dude, if anyone could do it, it'd probably be you. And so I did. I bought an ukulele. Next thing you know, I got sponsored by an ukulele company in Hawaii called Ko Aloha. I'm still with them to this day. I did a record real fast. Back before I did the record, I put a couple of demo songs up on MySpace back in the MySpace days. And I got over 10,000 plays in like 2 days, which got the attention of record company industries, you know, things like that. So I ended up going on tour in Hawaii. I was there for a month. And then I got nominated for a couple of big awards out there, the Hawaiian Music Awards. I got nominated for Ukulele Album of the Year in 2006. And then also the Hawaiian Grammy Nahoku Hano Hano Award for Rock Album of the Year. I didn't win, but I don't care. I mean, I got nominated. I've been, you know, I'm always stoked if I get any accolades for what I've done in Hollywood or LA. So I got nominated for many awards in LA. I won Most Outstanding Instrumentalist, all this stuff. And I was playing ukulele. I love playing ukulele. I have a new record out that came out during COVID, which kind of sucks, but it was called Ukulele Flamenco. So I dropped out of the music industry altogether in 2007, I think, and then I just didn't want to be in the music industry. I stopped playing. I quit playing. Long story short, I got sick with my whole illness that I have, and then I just stopped playing. I was out of the music industry 100% completely. And then in 2018, just out of the blue, I had gotten this girl that I know, whatever, I don't know, I didn't know her that well. She introduced me to her uncle, who was the former president of Warner Brothers Record Latin division, because she heard I played, you know, Spanish guitar or whatever. Long story short, he ended up calling me the president. I'm like, who, the freaking president of Warner Brothers Records? You know what I mean? And he has a label called MAMP, Maximo Aguirre Music Publishing, and I ended up signing a deal with them in 2018. I had no desire to go back in the record industry, and I had no desire, even less desire, to sign a record contract at this point, 2018. But I signed a deal for not only a recording artist, a producer, and music publishing. Music, Alvani Tunes for Alvani Tunes is, these are all parts of the label. So it's Pacific Latin, Maximo Aguirre, music publishing, then music for film and TV and stuff like that. So I've written a bunch of stuff for their music library for music, movies, and TV. And so that's when I did my first record with them, was called I have Another Rainy Day, which was a shitty record as far as I'm concerned. There's like a couple of good songs. I'll put up a part of the video for the official music video for one of the songs on that record. I didn't like it simply because when I was recording, I was having a lot of problems with my recording studio, and I was just working more on trying to fix things in technical than I could work on the playing. I, I then decided I was going to do an ukulele record and didn't necessarily think the record label was going to like it. I was just doing it for myself. But then they found out I was doing some demos. They wanted to hear it. They signed me for that as well. And then that's when Ukulele Flamenco came out. I got some press, and pretty much the record just, as far as I know, just kind of flopped. And it sucks because it actually, I don't like my own music when I listen to it. I just can't, I cringe. But I do think that that's a pretty good record. So I'll put some, okay, so this is getting on really long, so I apologize to anyone who's, like lost interest, and if you've lost interest, then you're not watching it at this point. So for the people that have stuck around at this point, I appreciate you guys. So I'm going to post a little video of when I was in my early 20s doing some shred guitar stuff. I'm going to post when I got nominated for the Hawaiian Grammy, the actual from the TV. Some Latin guitar stuff, and you'll see I have a very diverse style of music. I don't play electric guitar anymore, and I don't play heavy metal anymore, but I still love playing. I still love music. However, yeah, it just beats me to death, man. I wake up and I just wonder why I still do it. And so from there is a part 2 to this of how I make my money as well on top of it, because it's just, I live in Hollywood, I live in LA, it's extremely, it's expensive out here and whatever. So having said that, I'm glad you guys stuck around. I really do appreciate you guys watching my videos, my watch videos. And, I certainly wouldn't be putting this video up if it wasn't for all the people that have asked me. Because like I say, I'm pretty quiet about this. One thing I hated about music industries, I didn't like fame. I hated doing autograph signings. Keep in mind, I was not a household name. Some people go, who? I've never heard of you. And then I go, well, dude, I've never heard of you either, so maybe you should get better at your job. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, just because you haven't heard of someone doesn't mean they haven't done a thing. So I know a lot of people have probably heard my music. You just don't know it's me, obviously. Don't talk about it, man. Stay true to yourself and who you are, man. All that shit's bullshit, people, but I got to tour when I was in Hawaii. I did a lot of Borders books, autograph signing things, and that stuff makes me feel uncomfortable. I feel like the pet monkey that's on show, and I don't know, I didn't like it. But that album that got nominated was that record back there, Breaking Tradition. I just did something that nobody had done before, playing shred music on an ukulele, and it got all these accolades and awards and whatever. People go, wow, there's a lot of shred guys doing ukulele now. I'm like, yeah, dude, but guess what? I was the first one who did it, and I'm not one of those guys that goes, you know what, if it wasn't for, I started that shit. I know I did, but, look, whatever, man. So having said that, I do appreciate, I know there's a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about and go, oh, crap, I missed it. But stick around, all right? So here's some music videos coming up and other things like that, and I really appreciate it. You guys take care. Thanks.
Please round of applause for Miss Brittany Paiva.
The rock category in the Nahoku Hanohana Awards was established by the Academy in 1998. And as tonight's final 5 nominees have shown so well, their music is alive and rockin' in Hawaii. For Best Performance of Music in a Rock Style, the nominees are
Breaking Tradition, Tony Gamble,